Welcome to the Bootblack Corner where better footsteps in life are made. Thank you for coming to watch another episode of the Bootblack Corner. This is episode 3 of season 2. A long time coming. I do apologize for the delay, but we've started and we'll get better at it. So today's episode is about a conversation I've had with a few people, and I think you've had them yourselves when you speak with other people and converse about life in general. And normally, the question that we ask each other is like, "Oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" Or "What do you want to do in the next 5 years?" Or "Where do you see yourself in the future?" And a lot of people have their own answers, and a lot of people will have specific answers like, "I want this or this," or and normally, if you want to summarize it all, most people just say, I want to live a comfortable life. I just want to live a life where I'm comfortable. And I think that's what today's episode is today, because I would listen to these things and I've said it myself. And I'll ask myself, when does it start getting comfortable? When will life start getting comfortable with me? What does comfortable mean to me? So that's the episode today. And look, I understand the desire to live comfortable. I mean, life has been tough. I mean, we've gone through, war, COVID-19, political imbalances, inability of services provided, and natural disasters, missed opportunities. There's a whole host of things that I think we can justify the need to live a comfortable life. And I think all the things that has happened in this world would suggest that we live in a world of discomfort. The need for us to live a comfortable life would suggest that we live in a world of discomfort. And this world itself, it's a world that chases time, a world that wants to get to the next thing, wants the newest thing, dropping its pieces on the ground, trying to catch up. And I think we as people carry the same mindset too. Try to chase time in order to live a comfortable life. And as I was trying to answer this question for myself, to say, what does a comfortable life mean to me? I went through a few thought processes and thought stages as I got to my answer. And I'm not saying that this is the answer for you, but I think it is important to sometimes reflect and take time when you think about certain things, and eventually you'll get to the answer you wish to have, whether it's personal to you or whether other people can resonate with it. And so I'm going to share these thought processes or these thought stages that I've had as I was trying to answer this question: when will it start being comfortable? And the first point, when I started to think about it, the first point is comfortability is not measured by time. I realized, as I said before, that we live in a world that chases time. We always want the newest things. We try to build the newest buildings and the newest technology and nuclear machines and etc. We live in a world that chases time, and because we live in it, we share the same mindset. We share the same mindset to live that same life of chasing time. And as I said before, we lose pieces every time we try to chase time. Think of it as like running with a bunch of things in your pockets. The faster you run, the more things fall out. And those are the things that you get exposed by. Those would be your insecurities, your weaknesses, your inability to face adversity. Those are things that when you try to chase time, you get exposed. And I think for me, I've realized that when I had a time chasing mindset, I got exposed. I think a few months ago, I had a podcast episode before I did the video, called, I think it was my third or fourth episode. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the episode was about pacing yourself. And I really did believe that it's important to pace yourself. And I really did believe what I was saying. I think I still was pacing myself with a time chasing mindset. Yes, I would pace myself in terms of I've got goals that I know I won't achieve immediately, and I've got goals that I feel will take time for me to achieve. But I think I had a time chasing mindset to say that these goals still have a time for it. And I will still work hard as if they will come tomorrow. I'm not saying I want them tomorrow, but I'll work hard as if they'll come tomorrow. And so I think then, as much as I knew I should pace myself, I still had a time chasing mindset. And I think I got exposed. I think I got exposed because I realized that my weaknesses was seen by others. I think my insecurities were seen by others. And I could also identify the same things with other people who had a time chasing mindset, who said, oh, I want to have this by this time, or my peers are not having this and my peers are not having that. And I could see those pieces fall around the people that were around me, but also within myself. And I think that's the first point that I had to get to before. That was the first thought process that I had to get through before getting my answer, is that comfortability is not measured by time. And if I wish to live a comfortable life, let me not put a time to it, but rather let me understand what it is to be comfortable for me. Which took me to the second thought process. Once I understood that and I was okay with understanding, or okay with the fact that I can't measure a comfortable life by time. And the second point was comfort is objective. Once you make comfort subjective, it changes your feelings, it changes the way you feel about yourself, and it changes the feeling of being comfortable. Because if you make comfort subjective, you look at it in a point of outside, the exterior world, and not the interior world. And I think that's why we find ourselves in a place where we all have the same desires, or we all doing the same thing. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to, be a DJ, or it's wrong to be a football player, or it's wrong to have all these things that, some people are talented and gifted to do so. But I think that's why we all have a way of moving to the same thing and doing the same thing, because we believe that those who have started it, or those who have amassed success in these spaces, live the life that we believe is comfortable. So, what I mean by that is, if I see a football player living a life of, success, and has the car that I want, has, the picket fence and the double car garage, or whatever the case may be that I deem comfortable, or deem a comfortable life, then I believe, then let me be a football player, because that is what I can do to achieve the things that I want to achieve, this comfortable life that I want to achieve. So I think that's why we all want to do the same things. And I think maybe it makes it easier for the world to actually push us into trends, because we know all we need to do is just advertise a comfortable life and say, if you want this, why don't you just do this? So that's the second thing I had to understand, is that I need to be very objective with my comfort, and to say, let me personalize it and let it be an experience, to say, I shouldn't want these things because other people want it. I shouldn't want it because that's what people say you should want. I should do it because it's what I feel is good for me, and what I think is good for my life, and what I feel will bring happiness and comfort into my life. So the second part, the second thought process, after understanding that I can't measure comfortability by time, but I should also understand that my comfort should be objective. It should be for me, which also leads to the third thought process. And the third thought process would actually really be the first thought process, if you were to think about it before I spoke, would be you need to define what comfortable is to you. After understanding that comfort can't be measured by time and it should be objective, once you have those tools, you then ask yourself, okay, then what is comfort to me? What things do I need to have? What skills do I need to possess? What place do I need to live in? Which people need to be around me that will then make me feel like I'm living a comfortable life? What weight do I need to have? What food do I need to eat? And after you've personalized all these things, you would then define what comfort is to you. But within defining what comfort is to you, it's important to be specific. There was this other episode in Joe Rogan's podcast when he was speaking with Naval Ravikant. Um, I don't really remember the name or the title or the topic about the podcast, but when they were speaking about desire and the things that you wish to attain, because I don't think I want to be a pessimist and to say you can't want a nice car, a nice house, or the nice materialistic things in life. Those things are there for you to have. So I don't want to say you can't have them. But they were speaking on desire, and Naval Ravikant said something so profound. He said that when you want something and when you wake up in the morning, try look at yourself and have one undying desire. Have one desire that you're willing to sacrifice for and be okay with sacrificing for it. And what he means basically is this: when we have too many desires, and I spoke about it on the first episode when we talked about failure, when we said that where failure comes from failed expectations. So if you have many expectations, you increase your risk to failure. So when you have many desires, you suffer for so many things that you don't really need to suffer for. So he was saying, have one desire and be willing to suffer for it. It's okay to have desires, but don't have too many. Have one that you're willing to say, I'm gonna wake up and I'm probably gonna be insecure about it, or I'm gonna wake up and probably not gonna be happy that I don't have it, or I'm gonna wake up and still wanna work for it and not see it come into existence right now. I'm willing to suffer my time, I'm willing to suffer my effort, my resources, my mind for this thing. So there's no issue with having desires, but make sure that the desires you have become so specific that you are willing or okay with suffering with that one desire. And I think that's the the one thing that helped me define what comfortable is to me, is that I started to pick two or three things that I believe will make me feel like I'm living a comfortable life, and make sure that I'm okay with suffering for them. I'm okay with not having them now, but I feel like I need to have them. Because most people is like on two different places, or it's like a line and there's two different sides, with those who are just like minimalists who say don't suffer for nothing, don't have these desires, just live a good life and live a minimalistic life. And there's those who just want to mass production, where it's like I can have it all, I can do it all. And I think you can be in the middle to say there's desires that I want to have and I'm willing to suffer for them, and there are those that sorry, excuse me, that I'm willing to let go of and be okay with not having them. And after that would be the last thought process. And it was funny when I got to it, because I think it was just time away. I was off, social media, and I was doing nothing in general. I would, take walks, and I found that conclusion there to say, after all that I've thought and all that I've now attained and started to write down, say, okay, fine, I shouldn't do this. I must be objective. I must define it. I must not chase time. I got to a conclusion, which is point four. And point four says, comfort comes from gratitude. Gratitude is the act of being grateful. And gratitude is one of the four pillars of this podcast. And those who don't know, that the four pillars of this podcast is gratitude, innovation, knowledge, and discipline. And I didn't think about it when I was trying to reflect on it, but for me to get at this conclusion, it's sort of I wouldn't say cancels everything else, but it actually changes the direction or changes the perception that I had before to say I'm actually trying to get to one conclusion, and it's as if the conclusion is with me now. So what do I mean by comfort comes from gratitude? Being grateful for the things that you have now, if you are more grateful for the many things that you have now, you will slowly believe that you're living a comfortable life. If I believe that the bed I sleep in is the most comfortable bed, or I'm grateful for the bed I have because I know there are those with no without a bed to sleep on, I would probably be more grateful, and then in return feel like I'm living a comfortable life because I'm more grateful for what I have. And I think that's what I needed to understand, that the constant acknowledgement of what you have and the importance to what you have, in which in return makes you comfortable with what you have. So when I bring importance to the little things, I slowly believe that I'm living a comfortable life. And I I got to a point where when I try to chase all these things, which I do believe I can. And I do, and I am objective about what I want, and I don't chase time, and I follow all the thought processes that I have. I should still be grateful for what I have right now. And I think at that time, I would be able to say, as much as I probably live a better life now, I've lived a comfortable life for the past 10, 15 years because I've just been grateful of just the progress that I've had every single year, every single month, every single day. So that's the thought process that I had. And I hope that you try to see any good in it, try to find what comfortable is to you, and really take time because it's really important when you have conversations, don't leave them just hanging. When you have conversations with people, sometimes go back and think about it and see if they can resonate with you and if you can move forward. Because I think we have too many conversations. We speak to too many people and we have many conversations hanging that nothing really is captured in our heads, in our minds, in our thoughts that actually bring in action. So today's message to my future self, as I would do in every episode, is you're probably comfortable now. And if not, I hope you find peace of where you are. Remember the steps it took you to get to where you are today. Be grateful of who you are today and what you have. You're finally learning to be intentional. And I hope the world does not make you lose that. So that's the end of this episode. May this week, this month, this year bring the best in you. Until next time, guys, see you.